Hello, Virgo. Thank you for being here. Uh, Two energies are converging on you from opposite horizons. One walks toward you carrying something you've never held before. The other circles back carrying something you thought you'd buried. Light and shadow, new and ancient, both arriving in the same breath. You're standing at a crossroads you didn't choose but can't avoid. One path glows with gentleness you've been starving for, the other pulls with gravity you know too well. And the universe is watching to see which direction your feet actually move when both become real. Let me paint what's approaching in the mist. A presence is materializing that doesn't come with the chaos you've learned to call chemistry. This person moves differently, speaks differently. Their energy doesn't demand or take or consume. It offers softly, like rain instead of lightning. The word that keeps echoing is nice, not passionate, not intense, not the kind of connection that keeps you awake, wondering and worrying. Nice, which sounds small until you realize how long you've been burning in connections that were anything but. This person is water to someone who's only known fire. Your body might not recognize them as important at first. Safety doesn't register as exciting when your nervous system was trained to find home in danger. Kindness looks boring to eyes that learned to track threat. But here's the mystery unfolding. While this gentle stranger walks toward you, something old is waking from sleep you thought was death. A voice from before, an echo that knows your name in tones you haven't heard in years. Let's pause here. This reflection invites you to consider, what ghost have you been expecting to stay buried? The message from the past isn't random resurrection. Dead things don't rise without reason. Someone is reaching through time toward you, an ex, an old friend, a connection you thought had closed permanently. Or maybe the message isn't a person at all. Maybe it's a feeling, a pattern, a familiar ache wearing a new face. The past doesn't always need bodies to deliver its lessons. Sometimes it arrives as recognition, as the sinking feeling that you've been here before. Some doors you thought you locked are rattling. Some chapters you thought you finished are showing you pages you missed. Some wounds you thought had scarred are revealing they only scabbed. And you can feel it coming, that pull backward, that whisper asking, what if? The timing isn't coincidence. New rarely arrives without old trying to reclaim you first. It's like the universe testing your evolution, presenting you with what used to work to see if you've actually changed or if you've just been waiting for another chance at the same mistake. This reflection invites you to consider, when the past knocks, do you open the door out of curiosity or just loneliness? There's something about the gentle stranger that feels almost too simple to be real. They're not playing games, not sending mixed signals, not making you decode their intentions like you're solving riddles to earn basic decency. They just show up clearly, consistently, like humans are supposed to, but so rarely do. And their straightforwardness might actually feel suspicious because you're so used to translation work, so used to figuring out what people mean instead of just hearing what they say. Your attraction patterns have been wired wrong for so long that healthy registers as bland. Safe feels like settling. Uncomplicated looks like chemistry missing when it's actually just anxiety absent. This person is teaching you a language you don't speak yet, the language of ease. But while they're offering you vocabulary for a gentler life, the past is speaking in tongues you're fluent in, familiar chaos, comfortable confusion. The dance, all the steps to even when the dance keeps ending in bruises. The past arrives wearing nostalgia like perfume, memories softened, edges rounded, all the reasons it ended mysteriously faded. What remains is the highlight reel. The good moments polished until they shine bright enough to blind you to everything that burned. And you know this. Intellectually, you know this. But knowing and feeling are different countries. And your heart speaks the language of the past more fluently than it speaks the language of this kind stranger offering you something you've never tasted. This reflection invites you to consider, what if the familiar feeling you're mistaking for love is actually just your nervous system recognizing its favorite brand of suffering? Let me tell you what's really being tested here. The gentle stranger and the ghost from yesterday aren't just two options. They're two versions of you, the one you're becoming and the one you keep returning to when becoming gets too uncomfortable. Choosing the stranger means choosing evolution, means accepting that you've outgrown old patterns even when those patterns feel like home. Means trusting something unfamiliar because familiar keeps leading you to the same ending. Choosing the ghost means choosing the known. Even if the known hurts, even if the known is why you're here reading this hoping for different, even if the known is just another word for the loop you keep running. Some people stay in loops for lifetimes. They know better, but they choose familiar anyway, because at least familiar is predictable. At least in the loop, they know when the pain is coming. New pain is uncertain. Could be worse. Could be better. Unknown is terrifying even when known is destroying you. You might be one of those people, standing at this crossroads reaching back toward what you know instead of forward toward what could actually save you. The universe doesn't care which you choose, but you'll know. You'll feel it in your body which direction leads toward growth and which leads toward comfortable decay. This reflection invites you to consider, if you keep choosing the past over the present, are you evolving or just revolving? Here's what the gentle stranger represents that the ghost cannot. They represent blank pages, no history to heal from, no patterns to break, no apologies owed or explanations required. You get to be who you are now instead of who you were then. With them, you're not carrying weight. You're not performing redemption arcs or proving you've changed. You just exist, fresh, clean, starting from zero instead of starting from negative. But zero feels empty when you're used to weight. Freedom feels like floating when you're used to chains. And some people would rather carry familiar weight than learn to walk light. The ghost represents completion fantasies, the chance to rewrite endings, to get it right this time, to prove something to someone who probably doesn't even matter anymore, but your ego won't release. But you can't actually rewrite the past by repeating it. You can only waste your present trying. The ghost knows your wounds intimately because they probably gave you some of them. They speak the language of your trauma because they helped teach it to you. And that familiarity feels like understanding when it's actually just shared dysfunction. Meanwhile, the stranger is offering you something your system doesn't recognize as valuable yet: peace, ease, the radical concept that love shouldn't feel like war. One is asking you to stay who you've been, the other is inviting you to become who you're meant to be. The choice seems obvious from outside your body, but from inside it, where all your conditioning lives, the ghost still smells like home, even if home was burning. You remain in absolute control of which energy you move toward. You can engage the past or ignore it, explore the new or dismiss it, stay stuck or finally evolve. The power is yours. It always has been. You may notice reading this has awakened something, maybe recognition of the exact person from your past who's about to surface, maybe hope about who the gentle stranger might be, maybe the sinking feeling that you already know which you'll choose and you don't like that answer. Whatever it is, honor it, take what resonates, softly release the rest, trust yourself. Before we close, I want to ask you something. If your past and your future knocked on your door at the same time, which would you let in first? Drop it in the comments if you're brave enough to be honest. And this, what would you have to release about yourself to choose differently than you usually do? A very nice person is coming to your life, and a message from the past is arriving in the same window. And this isn't coincidence. This is the universe giving you a mirror, showing you clearly the difference between what you've been choosing and what you could choose instead. Light and shadow, new and old, growth and repetition, both presenting themselves clearly so you can't pretend you don't see the fork in the road. Not eventually, now, in this period. Trust yourself with this. Trust that you know the difference between pattern and progress, even when your body keeps reaching for the familiar. Trust that nice isn't nothing just because it doesn't burn. Trust that the past returning doesn't mean you're required to return to it. See you in the next one. And listen, two paths are appearing. One leads forward, one leads in circles. And your feet already know which direction they're trained to walk. Choose the one you're not trained for. Choose different. Choose growth. Choose the stranger over the ghost. Take care.